Hello, 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 welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today I'm putting this little JDM GSR that I got in this EK hatch. I got this car for 1,800 bucks. Super good deal on this thing, but we're putting it on the dyno today to get a baseline before we do any modifications to the engine, which I have a few pretty cool mods that we're going to do to the motor to try to give it some more power. And I just wanted to get a good baseline with this thing to see where it's at. So without further ado, we're going to do the first pull and see what the results are. Untouched, this is exactly how I got the car. I did install a wideband in just to kind of monitor the air fuel to see like if it's really lean or rich or something, causing any power issues, or if the tune is pretty good, we'll go from there. But having the wideband definitely is going to tell me the story with the tuning. This car does already have a chipped P28 ECU, and it has like this, I don't know if this is like a PLM header or something, and then like 2¼ or 2½ inch catback exhaust. But other than that, the engine is completely stone stock, other than a Moroso oil pan that I put on, and a cold air intake. So the results are in for the first pull that we did on this GSR. It sounded pretty decent in the car. It didn't really sound like it was low on power or anything, but man, this thing's kind of a turd. It hasn't really made a lot of power. Only 147 horsepower, and you can see the blue line is horsepower and the red is torque. And you can see pretty much right when it comes into VTEC, this thing just starts falling off on power pretty bad, or falling off on torque pretty bad. And horsepower just kind of sits level the entire time. Which, if you guys know a little B-Series VTEC Honda, this thing should be climbing horsepower as it revs, which it is not doing currently. And I'm gonna do a couple little things, and we're gonna see if we can figure out the issue. So the air fuels and everything were pretty good. It was a little lean at first. Right when VTEC crossed over, it did go like 13.5, 13.8. But after that, it was like high 12s, right around 13.0 air fuel, which should be good enough to make some horsepower. But it definitely, having that flat power curve tells me something's off. It's gotta be choked up somewhere. And I thought to myself, this thing has a chip P28. I don't think the P28 can control the stock IAB butterfly in the intake manifold, because if you guys don't know, the factory GSR intake manifold has like a flapper inside of the manifold to create like better low speed torque, and then open when the car gets to higher RPM in order to get the high power out of it. It opens the flaps. So like it wants the velocity down low, but then it wants the volume up top. So like that's why I think it's this little valve right here opens with a vacuum, and then there's like a little solenoid, I think, in the back somewhere, maybe. I don't know, it's been a long time since I messed with one of these factory manifolds. I don't personally like running the factory GSR manifold just because I don't like the way they look, and I don't like the whole butterfly deal. But I think what we can try to do is we'll do another pull, and I'm gonna manually open this little valve. So I'm just gonna take a zip tie, and I'm gonna tie this sucker wide open and see if we can't. It's funny, it actually has like an adjustment, like a throttle adjustment right here. I've never really played with one of these, but I'm gonna try to just jam this thing open and see if we can make some more power just by doing that. All right, hopefully we get like 15 or 20 horsepower from this, but it'd be funny if a zip tie causes 20 horsepower. Yeah, never underestimate the zip tie, guys. That thing is wide open now. Let's give it a shot and see what it does. Well, we didn't get the results we were hoping for, but we did make quite a bit more power down low. And we did make like 4 or 5 more horsepower, but down low, like 4 grand area, almost 20 foot-pounds of torque down low. We went from like 90 horsepower to 105, and then it went from 110 foot-pounds to 127 foot-pounds. So 20, or that's 17 foot-pounds and like 15 or 17 horsepower down low. But it still did pretty much the same exact thing up top. And I'm gonna try one more thing that I've seen a kind of common on these setups, especially when they have like a homemade cold air intake on them. Sometimes the pipe will actually be inserted too far into the filter, choking the airflow going into the motor. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take this filter off and I'm gonna see how far the filter is shoved into the pipe. Like if the pipe is way down here, kind of bottoming out in the filter, I've seen this more times than I want, and it completely chokes the thing completely. So let's see if we can take this filter off and hopefully find some horsepower. Oh, nope, I don't think that's it. All right guys, so no matter what I did to the IAB, it still was like not really running good up top, and it just kind of went flat on the power curve. I checked the filter, everything like that seems good, so I think the tune just has too much fuel in it up top. It was like 1020 air fuel, so I went in and I tried getting the file that was on the car, but it couldn't read. It was probably a different version of Chrome or something they were using, but I actually just took the chip and I burned a different map onto it, and Nick is here trying to sell a Volkswagen to a guy that gives us a 50-point inspection.
72.5 point inspection.
Yes, but anyway, so
hello, 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 Hunter Tuned. We're sitting here in shop. Check out this Civic. I'm Nick. Chevy truck. Pulling dents out. Oh, I got 2. It's not wanting to stick very well.
should we heat it?
Oh, here's a good one. I got it. Look at that shit. It's just the creases, which I was telling you. We gotta get one right here, I think. In here. Just be ready.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oops.
Oh, dang it.
Oops. Oh, that one was not nice.
Should we try the slide hammer on that one?
I think we gotta get one here.
Okay.
Not too shitty over here. Check it. Wow. Way less shitty than it was. That's the go-to phrase. Volkswagen shenanigans, not your ordinary shenan. So what we got going on here is a clutch issue, and here it is, rounded right out. Splines, junk, clutch good. We'll get this thing operational back here in a few hours when O'Reilly's gets them in stock. Okay, see ya, bye.
I got this other map loaded in, and we're gonna try and see if it makes any more power this go around. And all I did was adjust some fuel on the tune, so hopefully it's not coughing.
Not too shitty.
Hopefully it's not too shitty choking itself on gasoline. It doesn't have VTEC now.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. No.
That's sad.
That thing's still recording. Probably. Yes.
My bad.
I'm glad I got to experience that one.
Alright guys, so the old GSR in stock form, maybe not the greatest. I don't think this header is doing it any benefit, and I don't think this intake manifold is doing it any benefit either. So maybe if I can find a cheap header to swap this one out for. I just think all the bends right off of the cylinder head here is kind of screwing with it a little bit. This intake is really long, so it doesn't really make a lot of high-end power. I bet you if we put a shorter intake off of the throttle body, that would help a little bit. And doing the butterfly definitely gave it some power down low and stuff, but it didn't really shine how I expected it to. I kind of expect like a GSR to make like 180 horsepower, but all of the GSRs that I've pretty much done, like NA GSR stuff, they've all had the crucial modifications already done. And one of them is the intake manifold, because like I said, the design just kind of sucks. You guys saw we picked up some good power on that Jack Spania manifold for the K20. I think we can pick up similar amount of power with swapping the intake on this. So I did pick up a cheap eBay intake for it, and I'm going to show you guys that in the next video. It's not like your typical intake. It's actually like a knockoff of a more expensive intake, and I'm really excited to show you guys what that is. And then I have a whole list of budget parts that we're going to put in this thing and try out a bunch of cheap knockoff shit. And we're going to throw a bunch of cheap shit in this little GSR and see what we can get out of it and see how much fun we can have. So that's going to be it, guys. The best power. Here's the overlay from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. So we did pick up a little bit of power just from tuning alone and opening that butterfly, but it definitely still needs, it's just choked up, man. The thing's running on half choke right now. So we got to open this thing up. We got to let it breathe. We got to get the air in and we got to get it out. So stay tuned, guys. Subscribe, like, and God bless. We'll have a great night and a better tomorrow. And stay tuned and let me know what you guys think. What should we do with this little GSR? I want to try to get as much power out of it as we can, but I want to do all of it on a budget. So we're going to do that, and also going to go get my single cam head and start putting the single cam motor together here really soon. So stay tuned. See you later.